Hey, how we doing, peoples? I'm gonna do a voiceover on this video. So, I started by spraying some perfume because I feel like that resets my mind, and that way it just smells nice in my room. And I'm just looking over some sketches I had already, some studies that I had of some flowers that the client wanted, and just getting ready, putting everything where it needs to go. Don't worry about my studio space being messy. It's really just covering the ground so I don't mess it up. So there's like plastic on the walls and canvas and scrap paper, like the paper that comes in the Amazon boxes. So yeah, I'm just looking through some designs and some notes I made with the client's direction. She had wanted more blue, less green than a painting that she had seen in person. So what I'd done first, I didn't record it with my glasses. I just got them right after doing this first layer, was I used a acrylic ink, which is basically just watered down acrylic. I painted the gessoed area in not really a gradient, just very clear line from orange to pink. But I'm just trying to think of like how the painting's gonna go. So right here, I'm just kind of adding this another layer. I have this almost empty pen marker, a Krink marker, K-R-I-N-K, which is one of my favorite inks to use. This was like very watered down. I think I already like diluted it or added some different ink to it before, but I'm just adding some more layers of color to really cover up some of that white space. But as you can see, this isn't like crazy bright. It's pretty watered down, but at the end, the gaps in between the plants and the stuff I paint, there's my Labubu. Only have one Labubu. Is that they're complementary colors, so they really shine, like, you know, that electric line that you get with complementary colors. So yeah, it's a little bit kind of hectic here on this board, so I kind of skipped the spot and went forward because I'm still getting used to these glasses. So I put down a layer to kind of map out where I was going, and I'm going over it with a thicker, more opaque marker. This is a Posca marker, so it's very opaque. Just really putting down the first, like the area where the first paintings are going to go, the plants are going to go. I need to learn the names of these plants since I really like to paint plants, especially tropical plants. And here in Miami, there's a lot of those. So I need to get that on my list of things to do. So here's like two types of different palm trees. Palms, it's a palm frond, and then like another palm tree, palm frond coming down. And I'm not too worried about it being like perfect or anything, because a lot of this is going to get covered up, and I like to be really expressive with my lines. I like to work fast, and I like to get drips. I like to have it look like it was done with like very expressive lines. So again, I'm just going over everything and just darkening some stuff in, and then I just build and build from there. So this isn't spit up, I'm just working really fast. Just filling in. The first layer, that when I mapped out the paint, the first part with was with this Tiffany green Krink marker. It's the thinner one, and that really pops against this pink. Just making some more lines to build off of. These are kind of like I think they're like a pothos plant, and they have like little heart-shaped leaves in the front there. I'm basing all of this off of the client's front and back garden. She sent me videos, and I'm using those plants here. So I'm basing it off of that. Yeah, that green really stands out like crazy. It looks like neon, like it's super bright. I taped the edges with duct tape, and then I put gesso. Well, first I put a clear coat, like half gesso. Yeah, now I like really fast forwarded a lot because now all the plants are there, and yeah, I'm still getting used to like recording a lot while I'm doing this, so bear with me. But here you can see these are passion fruit flowers. I think she called them passionarias, but I'm not sure. Here you can see the other plants that I drew. There's some birds of paradise, and some lilies. Honestly, I didn't really like how the lilies came out, but she loved it. So as long as she likes it, that's good for me. But I think next time I'll do more studies on the plants I'm going to do, but with also the actual media I'm going to do it with, because it was different than when I drew it. I'm looking at the computer over there. So yeah, this is what I mainly use to cover all this up is Krink markers. This one is the really fine line nib. It's kind of like a little bearing that you push down and you squeeze, and like it oozes out in a very thin line. So yeah, the first layer I did after I mounted this piece of canvas to this piece of plywood that's 8x4, I wet it to get the wrinkles out. Then I put a really watered down, let it dry, then put the duct tape down. And then I put a really watered down artist gesso from Utrecht to get it sticky. And then I think I did that twice, and then I added a layer of gesso. I only added one layer of gesso, which I think was fine, but actually this is Belgian linen canvas, and it has a lot of bite to it. So like using these markers with little pieces of fabric as the nib on the marker, it really ate up the nibs on a couple of these markers. Luckily I had extra markers and extra nibs, but the next one I have in the shoot to my next commission, I think I did the same. I think I did one pass, but I have another third one that I'm going to work on, but it's not a commission. And that one I did, I think I did like 3 layers of gesso. So that's very, very smooth. This is that acrylic ink. I added a lot of attention to these passion fruit flowers because I really wasn't, like I said, I wasn't really too happy with how the lilacs came out. So I really wanted to add some more detail to these. I kept working on these lilacs until I got to a point where I felt like it was just smudging all the colors underneath. Since these are alcohol-based markers, once you push down, and even after the first layers are dry, the alcohol like revitalizes that ink, so you kind of get a mess if you're not working with like a very wet nib. And also to get it flowing, you have to push down. So, you know, it's really I have to be careful because I don't want to get it too muddy. Those are big Monstera leaves in the front. And I'm just going back and forth from all these markers that I have. That's that Tiffany green color. I really like that color. It's very nice. It's very light. Krink doesn't make that many colors. And I kind of like that because I like being forced to just do a couple colors. Sometimes I throw too many of my art supplies at a project, and I have a lot. So it's nice to just be kind of limited on something. It forces you to pick a palette also. But yeah, as you can see, these colors now against the green of that Posca marker and the green from the Krink marker that I used, it really like stands out like crazy against the background. So yeah, here I'm just filling in more and more on this lilac lily. I'm really just going for it. Like I don't have too much of a certain like step-by-step way of doing this. I just go with the flow. And I just like to keep it fun because in the end, the client is paying me basically to have fun. And when she saw my work at the Coconut Grove Art Festival, there wasn't very many questions. She just asked me when can I come to her house and make her something. So I knew there's nothing like selling something to someone that already loves what you're doing. Like she didn't really want to change anything other than her only notes was not that much blue. So normally I have a little bit more blue, the sky. And I do these like very random fill-ins, and it's kind of like I'm graffiti influenced. I'm not a graffiti writer. I wouldn't say that at all. But definitely growing up, I loved it and spent a lot of times on the graffiti forums learning about all kinds of stuff. And there was a graffiti forum back in the day called 12 Ounce Profit. And yeah, honestly, it was like my first foray into art. There was some guys that were already going, like really big, and they were always about sharing information and knowledge. And like, there was one specific thread. It was called the Babble, Babble, and it was just random. This is before Instagram, so it was just people posting really random pictures of art history, cool colors. That was another thing. I learned a lot about color theory, like without knowing it, because I was like, I don't know, 14 or 15 when I was on these forums, reading up about all these graffiti cultural heroes. Like all the people from New York and in Europe, and I'd watch all the illegally bootlegged graffiti movies, like Wild Style for sure. And so yeah, I'm heavily graffiti influenced. I feel like as a person born in the 80s, there's like probably a couple things that go without saying. You're probably influenced by graffiti and anime, and I am both. I like to wear my Gucci slippers when I paint. This is the only thing I bite off of Basquiat. Basquiat, there's like a picture of Basquiat in like a $10,000 Yves Saint Laurent suit, and it's completely destroyed, covered in paint. And I just feel like it makes me feel like $1 million. And I really like wearing them in the studio. At first I just put paint on them and made it look like that, but throughout the last couple of years, definitely paint has just gotten on them, and I'm just rolling with it. And they're my studio shoot, and also what I wear to I wore them to Basel this year. And I remember this lady's like, "Are you an artist?" I'm like, "Yes." How'd you know? I'm really exemplifying the artist mentality, I guess. I don't know if that's like a played out trope or whatever, like having clothes like covered in paint, but I feel like there's a time and place for all that. But I really like how it makes me feel, and it's all about being comfortable in your own shoes, in your own studio, in your own place, and during your own practice. And so yeah, this is my largest commission to date. It's on Belgian linen canvas. I said that already. It's 40 by 60, and it was really a challenge because I'd never painted something this big before. But I feel like I thoroughly enjoyed it, and I was just so happy and excited that someone had challenged me in that way. Like I have a family member, he's also an artist, and he'd always tell me like, "Carlos, don't do little drawing, do big work." I'm like, okay. And now I see why, because this was a really good example of my work, and I was really excited to finish it. And the whole time doing it was just a blast. The only thing is I still have to like figure out how I'm gonna listen to music while I record with my metas, because I usually like to play reggaeton while I paint and just jam out and get lost in it. But because I was trying to figure out how to put this stuff on YouTube, I knew that I couldn't put music in the background. So, and I know it's really enjoyable to hear like the marker sounds and like me humming along, and the ASMR aspect of it. This was very like flat. I didn't really do too many shadows on purpose. I just wanted to make it look this certain way. This is this style that I'm doing. Because at the same time, it's like drips. So like, how could it be three-dimensional if it's dripping from something in the middle ground to the foreground? You know what I mean? So I felt like it was fine. I really like to just fill almost every spot with color. I like to add a lot of work and give your eye something to look at, and maybe you see something new every time. Using all these different types of markers also, some of them are opaque and some of them are pretty glossy. So at the end, it really gave it a really fun dynamic. And all that stuff, I guess I didn't really plan it out, but all that builds and builds, and it really makes your work a lot more interesting. I feel like this yellow duct tape really was a lifesaver, because other than the top right part, it was pretty clean and it came out really nice, having that laser sharp line of paint. Just painting along. And now we're at 20 minutes, so I really hope you enjoy this. Please like and subscribe. I'm going to be constantly posting more videos of my work, and it's a journey. We'll get better and better as I go. And also, I'm doing this for fun. I'm not like too worried about any of this. Maybe eventually this will take off or whatever, but as of right now, I'm just throwing it together, and I'm doing a little voiceover as I paint, and watch this along with you. But yeah, I'm doing this for fun, like I'm not doing this because this isn't my main job. This isn't what I'm hoping to do, but I think it's just a great way to kind of, for myself really, to keep a record of my work. I plan on doing this for a long time, and I just really like to experiment. Like right here, I just mixed this crazy bright orange. I put in the wrong part. With this yellow marker, and it really gave it a nice funky orange color. I really like using bright colors, and I think it's just fun. It makes you happy. That's one thing. A lot of people at the Coconut Grove Art Festival, I had asked them like, oh, like the people that liked my work, obviously, they were like staring at it. I was like, oh, hey, how's it going? I'm the artist. Like, oh my God, I love your work, or whatever they would say. Well, I would ask them, how does it make you feel? And almost all of them would say joy, happy, fun, stuff like that. And I'm a really positive person, and I really am glad that my work is showing that as well. So I'm excited that the message is coming across. And to speak more on that,
I don't think this is working, actually.
My grandma is 103 years old.
Hey, man,
and she's always told me
delete last video.
To always think positive thoughts, and that negative thoughts are poison, and that I always have to keep my mind positive. And there's a saying in Spanish. They probably say it more in Colombia than anywhere, but it's pa adelante porque pa atrás asusta, and that means forward because going backwards scares people. So, like, just always with my mind on the goal, and just being positive and happy. Obviously, I'm not happy all the time, but when I do, when I'm not, I just force a smile, and it really helps, honestly. So I would suggest you do the same. It's always helped me out. Yeah, I'm just trying to fill in spots. A lot of this, it's kind of funny to talk about this because, like, my mind is turned off when I'm doing this. So, like, watching me do it is pretty funny because I couldn't tell you what I'm thinking, like, I'm just vibing, and I'm having fun. This is the most fun I can have. Like, honestly, my dream is to just do this for a living, honestly. I'm a graphic designer, but this is way more fun than making little barbecue cookout pictures, or, company holiday pictures or whatever, or photo books. But that pays the bills, and until then, that's what I do in my main job. But hopefully one day I can make this my main source of income, because there's nothing like painting for me, and it just brings me incredible joy. I think it'll help if I get better with these videos and the talkovers. Moving along. Hopefully it's not getting you dizzy. This is a different marker. This is a OTR, on the run graffiti marker, and they're pretty dark. I have a blue, pretty dark blue, a magenta, this green, and a black. I really like using very runny markers. And I like to fill in those gaps where if it's too light, I like to add some darkness for some good contrast. Wherever there's a lot of light, I like to add darkness, because that's where it really shows off and balances things out. I didn't think about this, but it is kind of like Keith Haring's style, where he does like little like straight lines with a nib. I never thought about that, but yeah, I don't. He did all kinds of stuff. I just saw some of his work on paper at the Rubel Museum in Wynwood, and that stuff was really nice. It was a huge collection. I think like 20 works on paper. Some of it really trippy, kind of like dark cartoons, really. It's funny, there's some parts of this video where I'm just like, if I would have stopped there, it would have been cool. But I kept going. And if I'm vibing, I'm just going, So I get to a point where, the painting will just be completely full, and then I'll be like, okay, if I keep going, I'm going to ruin it. So that's when I know to stop. But I really like to cover the whole painting. There's really no negative space in this. Which I kind of like. It's a lot to look at, but I feel like your paintings really match your persona, and I could say I'm a lot. I'm pretty loud and boisterous and dramatic and expressive. So it's kind of funny that my work seems to be the same. I feel like when I go to a museum and I see some like really messed up stuff, like I immediately know, like, oh, this person is definitely going through some stuff, or it's what helped them move past it. Because art is the best therapy. It's definitely that for me as well. So I thoroughly enjoy. Sometimes I'll look at people's work. I'm like, oh, this person is for sure crazy. But it's just a joke, and what's not going to somebody's show and calling them crazy? That'd be nuts of me. So my when I sign my work, I call it. I write Calma, CALMA, which stands for my initials plus my grandparents' initials. So my name is Carlos Alberto Lopez Montes Arango, and that's my grandmother's on my mom's side and my grandmother's on my dad's side. Their last names. Here I'm going through with a glass fountain pen and some ink from Birmingham Pen Co. out of Philadelphia, I think, or Pittsburgh. Well, they're both in Philadelphia. And I'm just adding little details, lots of little lines, and it's just more for the client to look at. Another thing is I'm gonna send this to the client when I'm done, so that they can have a nice, if they would like to watch it, a nice journey through the work. I wish I would have got some more of it at the beginning, but I kind of got into the zone and like totally forgot about the video. That one's pretty stuck. There we go, I got it. But yeah, this ink stuff, each of those bottles like $13, $15, $20. And I have like 30 of them. So I've really gone through and added a lot to my art supplies. of these inks. On here you can't really see like their best strength, but like when you dilute them, they give off like these crazy metallic sheens, and some of them have like super pulverized glitter, like smaller than like a grain of sand. That was my stomach. I don't know if you heard that. So yeah, I'm just adding little details here to all the plant leaves, especially up front, since I'm thinking that's the closest to you, so you would see that the detail more in those plants that are the closest to you. Just adding more detail, lots of detail. Lots and lots of little lines. I got all kinds of stuff over here. I have over there on the side, I have those oil sticks. I don't use them on this painting, but I use them on another painting, and I'm starting to have fun with those as well. That's probably what I'll work on the next. I have a square painting that no one has commissioned before. It's just going to be another. It's going to be like this, about paintings and plants, and but I'm going to do a little different. Filling in those little gaps, those little areas with tiny little lines that you wouldn't see unless you really got up close to the painting. You have to be very careful with these glass pens. The tip breaks really easily. I actually broke the tip off of this one, but I just sanded it down a little. So I'm pretty happy with where it's at right there. All right, well, I just talked to the client and she's really happy, and that means I'm really happy. I worked on this for a little bit, and it's my first large commission like this, and I just can't tell you how excited I am. So I used the pictures of her backyard and put her favorite flowers in it, which are lilies and these passion fruit flowers. And in her backyard, she has lots of monsteras and these really big, kind of like aloe looking plants that grow here everywhere, and palm trees. So I tried to add everything. And I'm incredibly happy with this. As you guys saw, I use Krink markers, which are these graffiti markers. And yeah, so I'm excited to put this all together and make a nice video. I'm going to take it off this big piece of plywood now and roll it up. I'm still waiting on to see if she says that she wants me to take it to a framer and get it put on a stretcher. I'm not sure if she knows what that means, but I tried to explain it to her. But yeah, this way you can see some of the details here. It's kind of flat, you know, it's not much, doesn't have very much shading, but I really like it like that. It's very Miami, I would say. It's really happy, and that's kind of my vibe. So yeah, I hope you guys liked the process. I know I didn't record everything, but in this next painting that I'm trying to do, the second commission I have that's even bigger, I'm gonna make, I'm gonna try to record every single piece, and if not every single piece, more along the way, so that it's a little bit more consistent. The only hard part is that I like to listen to music while I'm painting, so I don't really like when you post videos of music. But yeah, there's a lot to look at here, and it's really fun, and I think the background being so bright and next to the contrasting colors, complementary colors, I mean, it really just makes the whole thing pop. And yeah, I'm like really happy. I'm not trying to shake the camera, but I'm ecstatic. So yeah, I'm hoping you like the video, and I'll keep making these because it's really for me to see my how I change my practice as the time goes on. But hopefully some people enjoy these, and I'll get better with the editing, I swear. Peace. Oh, by the way, this is 4 foot by 3.5 feet or something like that. And it's on Belgian linen. Looks really nice. This looks great. And these will be on the other side of the stretcher, so that'll be fine. Looks really good. I'm really happy with how it's turned out. I just have to sign it now. This next part of the video is where I go to the frame shop, which is owned by my cousin, my dad's cousin, and he gives me some pointers for my next painting. He's kind of like my art mentor, so it's nice to hear his point of view on everything.
Tenga luz
Sí,
en ciertas partes.
sí.
Acuérdese de darle luz a los cuadros. Más pequeñito puede ser, por ejemplo, acá. Así, como para que usted le dé luz al cuadro.
¿Y crees que sería como, like, en un rayo, como apenas en un lado, como aquí?
Usted tiene que pensar que la luz viene de allá, o de allá,
Sí.
o de arriba. ¿Me entiendes?
Sí, sí.
Entonces, usted tiene que hacer esto. Así.
Sí, se ve mejor.
Una partecita. Y, por ejemplo, estas florecitas, usted tiene que ponerle luz.
Estas son flores de,
Yo sé.
passion fruit. ¿Cómo dice? De maracuyá.
Sí, es la misma, parecía la flor que hay en una rotonda en Coral Gables.
Oh, sí, yo creo que hay muchos de esos por allá. Y
La
también
misma.
en la pared de Design District. Hay una pared que ellos tienen en el mall de hacia allá.
Es una flor hermosa.
Sí.
Y ahí hay una escultura de esas flores.
¿Sí?
Sí, claro.
Ah, no lo he
En
visto.
una rotonda, yendo para el Billmore. Mira, primo. Usted tiene que ponerle lucecitas al cuadro. ¿Ve?
Sí, sí, se ve mejor.
Mira.
Voy a hacer me hice un tatuaje, uno nuevo.
Así.
Ya.
Oh, está bonito.
Es muy, esto es el estilo nuevo, es muy delicado.
Sí.
Y es líneas bien finas. Y hablé con la dueña y van a hacer otro, era como un pop-up que hicieron.
Sí.
Y el próximo en abril me van a invitar para traer cuadros. Voy a traer cuadros pequeños en papel. Y lo de marcar, algo chippy para mostrar en la pared.
Ok.
Y a ver qué caiga. Pero ya voy a hacer eso para los que yo empecé.
¿Ve?
Sí, sí, se ve mejor.
Yo estoy haciendo esto.
Sí, como matiz.
Es para iluminar el cuadro.
Sí. Así hacía Matiz.
Sí, señor.
Cuando yo estaba viejo y no podía pintar, sí se ve mejor.
En el green, entonces le mezcla un poquito de green y lo hace
¿Cómo
casi
así?
blanco. Más blanco.
Más blanco, ok.
Más blanco. Pero ve que ya aquí hay como luz.
Sí, sí. Sí, yo hice uno. Estoy haciendo unos ahora mismo.
¿Para cuándo necesita esta estrecha?
Para el 24.
Ok. Oh, muy bonitos.
Hice más de estas como el.
Ave fénix. Sí. Más color debajo. Más color. Más
Este tenía
color.
más, sí.
Tienes que poner más color debajo.
Ok.
Póngame cuidado. No es que me gusta criticarle. Es que yo busco cómo usted mejora.
Sí, claro,
Cuando uno le dice a un amigo
claro.
cómo mejorar, hay que decir no lo bueno que está el trabajo,
Sí,
sino cómo lo mejora.
claro,
¿Me entiendes? Entonces no hay que tomarlo a mal.
claro. No, yo
¿Cierto?
no, yo no me ofendo.
Bien. ¿Ve que tiene luz?
Sí,
Aquí como luz.
sí. Bueno, el próximo grande le va a hacer como en una área así,
Sí.
viniendo de
Como
la derecha.
partecitas.
Sí.
Aquí le puede poner luz. Aquí le puede poner otra lucecita.
¿Cómo dice
Así.
flat en español? como plano, sí. Este es muy plano,
Deep.
sí.
Jorge, ¿me necesitas? Me avisa. Este lino es bien caro.
Sí, bien caro. No tengo mucho. Lo que corte acá, me lo deja y yo lo junto todo y...
Claro, está bien, primo.
¿Cuánto crees que va a
¿El
costar?
primo?
Sí, está
¿Qué?
bien. Esto, el stretcher.
Ellos van a pagar.
Yo le voy a decir que sí.
Ah, tú tienes una gafa inteligente.
Sí.
¿Esa gafa qué hace?
Está haciendo video
¿O sí?
para mi contenido.
Oh, ya.
Porque hice casi todo un video de yo haciendo la pintura
Sí,
y voy a incluir esto de parte del video. Y voy a poner un chip aquí en el marco
sí.
que va a ir al website de donde está este video.
Oh, qué bien.
Para que ellos puedan ver cómo se hizo y todo. Todo
Sí.
la vida del cuadro.
Primo. Este
Alright guys, going to deliver my largest painting yet. Which I painted on commission. And I'm gonna go deliver it right now. I'm super excited, kind of nervous. He's never painted anything this big. It's 60 by 40. You know, so it's pretty big. Ah! Super nervous. Super nervous because for no reason. Nervous for no reason. All right, let's just make this little part stick out and then enganchelo.
Vamos. No, because I'm short.
Okay, I got it. Just hold it.
I got it. I got it.
Yes.
Do we need a level?
Look at that.
Or you think it's
No, it's good.
Oh, you're good.
I measured it from the wall. Huh?
Oh my god. Oh my god. It's beautiful. It's gorgeous.
I'm like getting chills. Oh my god. Wow. This is like so cool with the direct, like some parts are opaque and some parts are shiny, and because of the texture in the Belgian linen, it really like glimmers. Yeah, it looks well, thanks for joining me. Here you can see the end of the video. You can see the finished piece hanging up, and this is the backyard and the painting at the end. Thank you so much. Like and subscribe. Thank you. Bye.